Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Gulfstream today. Ron and Samantha. Brian on assignment this afternoon, so we'll be just us two giving you some useful updates. We hope we will at least. We have a fast-made track, firm turf course, all-weather to Peter, and $525,000, I think, guesstimate in the Rainbow Six, which kicks off in race from 5. There you see, there's already $400,000 in the pool, so it's yours for the taking.
It is. We're on a firm turf course today, fast main track. We're very lucky for that, Ron, and it'll be way over 525, I think, today.
Yeah, me too. I thought that was a little low when they were doing it, and you're absolutely right. We've got to, shout out to all the people around the country that are dealing with some bad weather.
Yeah.
We've just been lucky so far this whole meet, just about a couple of days we had rain, matter of fact Sunday, but otherwise we've been okay. So good luck to all those people out there. Brian put an early pick 5 ticket together. We'll take a quick look at it, see what he's got planned here for the opening race. We'll talk about the first in a moment. 4 deep in race number 2. That's that turf race. Pretty wide open affair. He's got my topic in there, Be There. I don't know which one you used. Race number 3, there's this single, Our Money Moves. That's Jose Garofalo with Paco Lopez in the saddle. Race 4, just 2 to 3 and the 7. Both sides is probably going to be one of the favorites. The 3 horse. And in race number 5, 2 deep once again with the 3, and that is Mean to Me, and the 8, Compass Rises. So very affordable, $24 ticket, and this interesting first race here, with a couple of first-time starters. Where'd you go here?
I went with the 6 on top, so already a proven runner here. And what I love about this horse, Ron, is I've tried him a couple times now, and last time out, I wanted him a bit more aggressively ridden, and he, right before the gate, I remember I was standing out on the grass course and I was watching him, and right as he was getting into the gate, he got a bit hot, so I want to watch him today, but he was just still way too patiently ridden. That winner that day, absolutely hot. It was a really nice grass winner for Dale Romans, who had a great championship meet, and I just felt like he's always way behind the 8 ball, but today we get Paco, who's more aggressive than that, and we get an extra half furlong to deal with. What a great post position, too.
Yeah, got that positive outside draw. And then you got, I did the same thing with that horse on top. And then I went with the 4 like you did, Discotheque, I should say, turning back to 5.5 after Weakling Lake to finish second as the favorite. That was going 6.5 at Turfway. We talked about this the other morning, Brian and I, when you were off. No one from Turfway is proven yet. No. That I can think of my mind. I don't have
agree.
A stat, but you know what I mean?
Right.
They come with good figures. They come looking like they're going to win, and I don't remember any winning.
It's kind of like smoke and mirrors,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
You have to be weary of that. Yeah.
Now we get a couple of first-time starters in here, and we'll look at the one first. I think we got a morning workout for this horse here.
Yeah, we do for a couple of these. So Ortley Avenue, this horse here, and we've got a stat I'll show after this, but he's on the outside. You can see him. He doesn't handle the dirt well at all. You see his action. So he switches into the right lead here where he's supposed to. But then he's about to, switch right into his left lead there. Just never really gets a hold of the ground. Then switches back into the right lead again. And as you can see, Ron, he doesn't want any part of the dirt at all. But I just don't know what part of being a racehorse he wants either. And we'll find out. I mean, he's not in for a tag. This wasn't great. But he's a good-looking horse, but he just is not, I don't know. On the Tapeta, I hope he's a different horse because he can't run like that. But look at this stat that I found.
First-time starters, Tapeta sprints at Gulfstream. Wow, 1 for 2, 50%. Yeah. So
look at the ROI, too.
Yeah, 1460. So one of those two, that one was a bomber, put it that way.
Yes.
So paid 1460 with the ROI. Then the other one we want to show is Abuelo, and this one from Safi Joseph Jr., easy for me to say, with Cipriano Gil in the saddle.
Yeah, this horse I think could be interesting. Now look at the company that he's working with. Skippy Longstocking here, just a really, really cool horse, graded stakes winner for Safi Joseph. So if you're working with him, that says a lot about you. Now I want to say working with him very loosely because Skippy is not doing anything, and Abuelo is that's the Spanish word for grandpa. He looks a bit like a grandpa out there. I'm sitting next to somebody who is of age, but you don't look like a grandpa.
She's going to get a whack. You're not allowed to say that anymore, but boy, bang, zoom, as Ralph Cramden used to say. Second race, really nice one, on the turf of Mile into 16 claimers, 3-year-olds and upward, and we do have a scratch of the number 7 horse in this race, and it kicks off the Brian's pick 4 that we just...
Yeah, we'll tweet it out.
You tweet it out for sure. So let's get into this race, and you went with the number 3 horse in here, and that's Bandula. And Bandula, very interesting horse for Lisa Lewis.
Yeah, this is, and to me, this race, you saw in Brian's ticket, it's a spread race. This is a tough one.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a head scratcher here, but Rajim Miraji rode a couple winners yesterday. A really crafty ride up the rail on the grass here. This horse's grass race for 25,000 was much stronger than this race we'll see here. So maybe this is one that now third start off the layoff, who's always been a really heavy horse, can be a bit more fit for this.
I did go with the 2 horse in there, Be There. We was almost there when he closed strongly to come within 3/4 of a length of Notch. In this condition was at a mile, stretch out to a mile into 16th. It's like handicapping 101. If he runs good at a mile, you expect him to run good at a mile like 16th. That's not always true. Paco Lopez, I mentioned earlier the other day that Paco can win 5 today.
Yeah.
He's on real live horses today. So I did go with Be There on top of my ticket, which you had in second. Logical choice.
Yeah, well, let's show the replay
Oh,
because
yeah,
there's a couple exiting that race. Summer Storm, Chic, who you have in 4th, and I've got him in 3rd. What did you think of this race? Because to me, this race was a bit weird. You don't usually see on the grass course here them so tightly bunched like this, and then the way that they finish is and the making of maybe not a very strong race here. So everybody that we have coming back into this race, Ron, they were all out the back, including Be There. Be There was way out the back, and we'll see him start closing here. He is going to roll up on the outside. He's the 4 horse, so there he is in the pink helmet cover. And then Summer Storm Chic, the 12 horse, who we'll see flying on the outside. I thought that was a huge run by him. We'll see him in just a second. Boom, there he is. What do you think? I mean, when they all finish like this, Ron, it's hard to make a lot of it to me.
What I saw in this replay here, you saw the 4 when he was back there. He had a steady twice.
Yes, he did.
So I don't know how much that affected him coming on the outside. It looked like he wanted to go with the horse, through horse, in between horses. There was no room. So he steadied back. You always mention this being a former jockey. Once you have to take it back, you got to re-rally,
Yeah.
So, okay, I'm nitpicking a little bit with they weren't, it wasn't, oh my God, steady.
But it's still enough.
It was enough that give the horse another. I wanted to ask you about number 1, Sir Mendel in here, who's making a usually fruitful third start back from a layoff after rallying. He finished 4th. He was in that race.
Yep.
So what do you do with him, with Fernando Abreu, who's had such a good winter, and Lionel Reyes, one of the best riders on the grass here, is atop the gelded son of Mendelssohn.
This horse galloped out really nice.
Yeah.
And you look at his last race that he won. It was going a mile on the 16th, and it was with Lionel Reyes. So. And
you showed the Summer Storm Street.
Yeah, he was closing fast.
He was closing fast. With that said, speed is still good on the turf course.
It is, and there's not a lot of it in this race. If you go to the front, you might win.
That happened, with a couple of horses on the Tapeta yesterday. When you looked at them, there was no speed in the race, and the jockey who was smart enough to go to the lead won the race.
Yep.
So go to race number 3. We're going to sprint on the Tapeta at 5 furlongs. These are maiden claimers, 3-year-olds. We've got a field of 8 with no scratches in there. And Brian's single in here was the number 1, Our Money Moves. You went with the number 5 horse in here, Wow Bubble.
Well, this horse has some speed, and he's drawn to the outside of Our Money Moves, which I think is so key here. You talk about the Tapeta yesterday. You need to be up front. You just cannot pass horses down the lane, and it's just that warmer weather that Tapeta gets a little bit stickier. It makes it harder to make up that ground, and both the 5 and the 1 can be forwardly placed. I just like the post position of the 5 a bit better.
Yeah, Our Money Moves, I think finds that dream spot. You think he's stepping up today because he ran he almost broke his maiden going 12-5.
Yeah.
I don't see a big jump up here today. Jose Garofalo, once again, as I mentioned, Paco will be quarterbacking the inside post today. You're right about that, but he looks like the one to beat. I don't know about singling it, but, I like your ideas with the 5 because he has a better post there. What about the 7 Culminator? gets everything but the kitchen sink today. He drops, he debuts on the turf, he cuts back to a sprint. He showed little against better. That was going long and short on the main track.
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden I'm going like this.
Everything, yeah. My note on this horse on January 11th was needs maiden claiming. And we're here today.
Yeah,
There you go.
We'll see how it goes.
Easy
We'll
as
go,
that.
easy as flipping a page. You're going to race number 4 today. No problem for us. The fourth race is 7 furlong starter optional claimer for fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and up. We do have a scratch in here of the number 1 horse Contubia, and this is our middle pick 4 today.
It is, yeah, the ever popular. I've got the ticket here today. It's a $32 play. I don't have a single. Race number 5 run I thought was a tough race. I went with the 1 on top, Blinging Blur. Race number 6, just 2 of them for me. I scratched out of my top pick there, and I do have the 6 on top now, De La Cruz. And in race number 7, oh, this is a tough one.
Yeah.
It starts the late pick 4. I've got the 10 on top. Man, you could use the all ball there almost, but $32 the play.
I spent so much, not to interrupt, I spent so much time on this race,
Yeah.
and I kept going. I have the 10 on top too, but I kept going back to Japard. I put him on a ticket. I don't know
nice.
why,
Okay.
so I added him on my ticket. I didn't put him on top. He came this close to being my long shot, so
Hey,
it didn't
you
work
never
out.
know.
But you're absolutely right about that being a tough race, and we both started it with the number 3 horse in here, and that's Both Sides.
Both Sides. Did you always have this horse on
Yeah.
top? I did too. I liked this horse a lot more than Contubia today. Both Sides just stubbed his toe a little bit last time, but before that, he was on a 3, or she, pardon me, madam. She was on a 3-race win streak, and of course that snaps. You're a horse that was claimed for $8,000, and I think that the Connections did a great job with stepping her up in class, and she ran really well. She's got speed, and that makes her so dangerous.
You know, the number 3, the horse you're talking about, what I love, it's one of my angles, a 3-time winner at the distance. Some horses run well at 7 furlongs, some don't do it. It's almost like a 2-turn race.
It is,
You know,
yeah.
and you got to be that certain horse. And adding to what we'd said about the 3, I like the fact that it is a 3-time winner at 7 furlongs. Now, the other horse you used on your ticket was the 2 Major Price. This one from Joel Santiago.
I like the dirt races better here for him than her Tapeta races. She's got 2 wins on the dirt and 1 on the wet, or 3 wins technically, and only 1 on the Tapeta. So I just feel like maybe now she'll be better returning to the dirt, and this seems to be maybe a little bit easier field for her.
Well, I didn't know what to do with the number 5. I had the number 5 in third, but the 1 horse scratched out. That's
Yeah.
St. Olaf Rose, who's going back to what looks to me like her preferred surface. She had the 2-race win streak on the dirt end when she showed speed and faded against those allowance runners, starter allowance runners, going 5.5 on the Tapeta. I don't know. What do we get today?
Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, because do you just toss out the Tapeta start completely and just look at her dirt form, because she's perfect.
Yeah.
Here, but this is a step up.
No, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Without a doubt, it's a
But
step
if she
up.
runs like she did 2 back, oh, that'll be tough,
Yeah.
even though it was for 8.
Yeah, no, and there's another horse when you're handicapping, you sort of got to go back and look. And I'm not paying. I don't know how to explain it. You know, 12-5, 17-5 at this time of year.
Doesn't
all those
make a
things,
difference.
It's all like level to me.
I agree.
You know, because horses are trying to find their proper levels after leaving the championship
Right.
meet and getting their heads knocked around by some tough horses. you know.
Exactly, yeah.
So we'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll have my Rainbow Six ticket with 525 guesstimate in the pool.
And they're off.
Win big with new DRF All Access Past Performances. With one best-in-class product, you now get all 3 past performance formats. Easily switch between views. Access the most trusted information in horse racing with DRF All Access Past Performances. Go to DRF.com and use coupon code 1FREEPP for a free single card today.
Welcome back to Gulfstream today, Ron and Samantha. Fifth race is going to kick off the Rainbow Six. As we mentioned just before we went to the break, they're estimating 525,000 in the pool. It's over 400,000 already in it. The fifth race, a mile and 1/16. These are claimers, fillies, and mares, 3-year-olds and up, which have never won two. We had a scratch in here of the two wider than a mile. One of the horses I did have on my ticket, so I reworked it. And I wasn't sure about this race after that scratch, so I went 4 deep. We'll talk about this race. Race number 6 this afternoon. I'm in agreement with you. I think the 6 and 4, 4 and 6. I also added the 1 in there, richly deserved, because it's Todd Pletcher. Race number 8 today is my single, and that is the one, You Light Up My Life. And in race number 9, just 2 for me, the 4 and the 5, top one being Elevated Game for Noel Ramsey. And in the last race, I got 1, 4, and 2. I could have gone deeper, but I went with 1, 4, and 2. Top one being the Manche Gras. They scratched a big favorite out of there in Risen Sun.
Yeah, big time.
Well, getting back to this race, let's see how you start. Oh, we got a video. Do you want to show that first, or you want to talk about the 3? Who'd you have on top?
I had Blinging Blur on top, the 1. Which we'll show the
replay.
Video,
yeah,
because the way that this race is going to set up now, she looks pretty tough here, because as we talked about earlier on with the Tapeta, this is where you want to be in these Tapeta races. Now, Ragtap Girl will play as well. She's the 6 on the rail here. Blinging Blur at this point of the race was sitting in a really good spot and just couldn't see it through. But what I like about her is she's back in the same spot again today, and just back a couple weeks later. Ragtap Girl, to me, Ron, I think she'll get bet today, but look at her. I want Blinging Blur from this race, because look at her on the rail, and we say this a lot. Where you want to be is where the 6 and the 2 and the 5 are.
Right.
Even the 1. You just slow down on that inside path there.
Well, I've been watching Tapeta the last couple of days, and, to me, I had to put the 3 Mean to Me on top of Stepping Up to Face Winners, which is tough to do after using her to speed to defeat those 12-5 maidens going this distance on the Tapeta from Marty Drexler, Edgar Zayas in the saddle. That's good connections, and of course it's got speed, but got to make that jump up.
Yep, and that's tough to do sometimes, but it's possible with connections like Marty Drexler.
Yeah, without a doubt. And then the number 4 horse in here. Well, you showed Ragtag Girl.
I'm not so convinced on her.
Yeah, it's sort of. I backed off a little bit too, and then you got some other horses you can throw underneath. But I think the 3, 1, 4 might be the way to go in that race.
Yep, I think so too.
When you're putting your ticket together, I did throw in the 8 Compass Rises from Mike Dini, Paco Lopez.
Yep.
Like I said, Paco's got a chance to win a bunch of races today.
There's no speed from I wanted to put the 8 in there because I like Mike Denny a lot, and I like when Paco rides for these New Jersey connections. But blinkers on have got to get this horse in the game more.
Yeah, and once I lost that other horse in the race there, I said, I'm just going to go put him in there. So race number 6 is a mile and an 1/8. Now mark that down on the Tapeta. These are maiden 3-year-olds and upward. We're going to scratch the 2 Oasis Prince and the number 5 Robin. And this has our late pick 5. And Samantha's got her ticket that she wants to show you.
Yeah, and the Oasis Prince was my long shot, so I'm out there. We'll get into this race in a second. Race number 7, Ron, throw a dart at it. The 10 is who I've got on top, Ship Cadet. Race number 8, singling the 1, as you are. You Light Up My Life. She just looks pretty strong in that race. Race number 9, the 4 for me on top, Elevated Game for Nolan Ramsey. And in race number 10, the finale today, I've got Back in Business on top, the number 8. So $32 is the play. And I wouldn't be surprised if there are some singles going into that finale today.
Yeah, it's not an easy sequence. No. We'll see how it plays out. And here's, as I mentioned, this one is a mile and an 1/8. Now they scratched Robert Wild, so I had in the race. I said the 2, Your Long Shot, and the 5 are both out of the race. I thought Kevin Rice's horse would run pretty good. Yeah. But I always had De La Cruz on top of my ticket.
Ah, okay. So De La Cruz comes off a layoff, but you look at these races, they're just way better than the field, especially with the scratches now, Ron. This horse really, he looks pretty solid here. He's making his first start now as a 4-year-old. You get Paco from the outside. He's got a lot of stamina. You look at the races. I mean, he debuted for a mile and an eighth on the grass.
Yeah.
So he looks like he can run all day long. It's funny. His half sister is a Kentucky Oaks winner. Proud to spell.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
And I found this horse so interesting for all the reasons you mentioned. You just look down the pass before mile and 3/8,
Yes.
mile and a half,
Yeah.
and this is going to be. Do I say it? A jiggy jog in the park. But Trip Aces, we've got a video we want to
Yep.
show with Trip Aces.
Trip Aces. On the Tapeta is much better, but look at this. This was 2 starts back on the Tapeta. So there he is, the 2 horse here, and this is not going to be good what happens going into this first turn. Even though it's a 2-turn race, you see him here. He's traveling well. He wants to go, but oh no, we're not in a good spot there. He didn't want to be on the inside. He was running up on horse's heels. That's just not where you want to be. And look, continues to check, continues. I mean, that he's almost in a jog at that point, and he still finishes third. And you see him just still consecutively checking around that whole first turn. That was the last time he was on the Tapeta. He'll get the extra distance. They obviously want to run him as far as he can go, as far as a race will be written for him. Look at the mile and an eighth race on the dirt last time.
Yeah, he's a son of Constitution. He's hard spun on the bottom. He's bred to at least handle 9 furlongs. That is for sure. We talked about then the number 1, richly deserved. It's Todd Pletcher. They tried this horse a mile and a 16th on the turf. The old Todd Pletcher, routine is if he tries a horse going long on the turf, tutti finut, don't use him and everything like that. But I think going to the Tapeta, this one could run well. That was a good race, produced a couple of next out winners.
I don't think this is such a well-bred horse, the son of rags to riches, and it's unfortunate that not all the time the offspring are as good as their parents. the dam, obviously a huge runner, a graded stakes winner, but no offspring to win. Will he be the one today?
Well, Chow Chuck was a pretty good horse. The one
that won the last race. Yeah, his last race, Chow Chuck, was good. And won on Florida Derby Day.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so, it's
see.
Todd.
Yep.
I'm throwing him on the ticket.
All
So,
right.
that's it. Race number 7 this afternoon, 5.5 furlongs on the Tapeta. And as we mentioned, scratch the 13 horse in here. Let's start with the video of Ship Cadet.
You want to show Brian's ticket first?
Oh, Brian, that's right. They picked 4.
He's got the late.
When he's not around, I forget about him.
Oh, man, that's a shame.
In the 8th race, wow, he's going with the 6. He's going against a single there. I like it. And he's singling Broderie in that race for Fernando Breu. He's got him on top in the morning line. Race number 9, he went 3 deep in there. And he's got the 4, I think, elevated game. We both think that's a logical one. And then the last, it's 1, 4, and 8. And I have the 2 in there, King Express from Mark Cassie, a little bit of a price horse. But only $13.50, so you can fool around with it. Add our 1, it becomes $26 or something like that, whatever. So I was able to do that without Brian here. Now we'll show the video.
Yes, we will. This is of Ship Cadet.
Yep.
Here at what looks like a very cold Turfway Park. Makes me very happy to be here in Florida in the winter time. But look, you see him here, and apologize for the quality of the video, but you have to see this because this was a second place finish where he had speed a lot of times, more than not at Turfway from what I watched there. The speed is typically very good. Now, a big long shot came and beat this horse, but this was a very game effort by the 5, and he just was... Ship Cadet was on the inside the whole time and did all the hard work, and the long shot afternoon heat just came and nabbed him at the end.
And, Mike Benga, who? Paco Lopez. Once again, I go back to that saying that he could win a lot of races here today. Let's go with your 4 and second. The North remembers. I get the old question mark next to this horse. We know him very, very well.
Yeah, we do. A cool horse and is now with Marty Drexler, which I think is very significant here. This horse has won 5 races on the Tapeta here. Is just he's no stranger to this racetrack at all.
I want to tell you why I was interested in the number 9 horse, Gibraltar, reclaimed by David Forks. So, bang, I like that right away. Hopes to bounce back. He was really good to back for David Forks. Didn't run that well last time out. They thought enough to jump in and grab this horse again. Miguel Vasquez rides. If you're looking for, I don't even know what he's 10-1 in the morning line. I was going to make him my long shot. My long shot got ruined with, it's going to be a big favorite in the race with the scratches of Regal and Regal and all that. So we're not going to talk about that. So go back and look at your bar. And I just love that old reclaim. And boy, David Forks. How good is he going?
Yeah, he had a fantastic championship meet. He's starting off well here at this Royal Palm meet. I mean, where did his speed go last time?
Yeah,
That's that.
yeah.
But you made that point. The race with Dave Fox was really good, and they claimed him back. So we'll see. We'll find out when the gates open with him. How about that?
And just to add a little twist to this race here, Super Success is hoping to live up to his name when he drops. For who? Marty Drexler.
Yep.
So Marty's got 2 in here. Always mark that.
I know. I use them both on my ticket
Right.
whenever Marty Drexler has 2 in the race, and just kind of as a rule of thumb, unless I absolutely love one and I'm spreading, I'm using both.
Race number 8 is where the coast to coast, the final coast to coast of the year, Santa Anita closing
Yes.
day. We'll talk about that in a few moments. But this is where it starts here. It started at Gulfstream in race number 8. It's a mile event. It's an allowance optional claimer. These are fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and upward. And both Samantha and I have the number 1, You Light Up My Life. And I think you got a stat that you want to show for Gerald Bennett.
Oh, yeah, I thought this was interesting, and this is just with Gerald Bennett's winner last out on the dirt, 36 for 196, 18%. Not a strong ROI, but that's because they're favorites in doing statistics like this in winning their next consecutive race. This horse has won 2 races in a row. He's set up well. She is set up well here in this field, and she's just taking that next step forward. And I like now that she'll cut back to the 1 turn, because at Tampa, mile and 40 yards is 2 turns. We'll cut back now.
Yeah, we shipped into Tampa last year to win for Gerald Bennett. So
Yeah.
it's like trying to catch lightning in a bottle again, reeling off, as you mentioned, back-to-back victories. And now the horse that Brian singled, Brodier, this one is wheeling back, hoping to improve. He was 3rd last time at this level and distance for Fernando Abreu.
Okay, so this mare, to me, when they tried her on the grass course, I was very interested. I thought that maybe she would run really well, because the way she travels is a lot like a turf horse. And I know she ran 2nd on the dirt, and she's 1-2 on the dirt, but sometimes when these horses get older, things can change. You have different interests as you get older. You pick up new hobbies. And I think that she's one. I was going to make a joke, but I won't. I've already said
I
a
already
grandpa
sensed
joke.
it was coming.
Yeah. But I still, watching her replay last time, I know it was a tough field, but I still think she's a grass horse. She starts going up and down on the dirt. Her class carries her to fill out the exotics, but to me, I can be wrong here. She can win without me.
Number 2, Tyler Rohr, the previous winner at a mile, stretches out. Back-to-back 3rd-place finishes, going 7 for the dynamic duo of Safi and Edgar Zayas. And this is the daughter of St. Patrick's Day. You're sort of going to put this one on your ticket.
This is a confusing filly, because it's hard to tell really how good she is, because her last 2 races, she's caught, like you like to say, a buzzsaw in Emirates Affair, who won again this week, by the way. So now 3 wins for Emirates Affair. I don't now, first off, the claim for Kent Sweezy. So now that Emirates Affair is not in this race, she moves up, I think.
Yeah, definitely. And, with that said, let's go to race number 9, a mile on the turf. And this one is a claiming for 4-year-olds and up. Talking about big scratches today, I thought Regal was a big scratch today. Going, was on a tear, winning, 3 or 4 in a row. Sort of changed things around here. Elevated game. I thought I'd get a little bit of a price. It's not my long shot anymore by any stretch.
Yeah.
It drops to the 20 level today. I think we have a bit of a video on Salvatore Prince. You also have elevated game.
I like elevated game, because she's been on this grass course before. It was in the Showing Up Stakes. You guys don't have to show the replay yet. We'll get to it in just a second. And that was a really tough race for him. Now, as a 4-year-old, he had the tune-up at Turfway Park. It was just a no-show effort, but now we're in for a tag, and we're back on the preferred surface. 5 wins on the grass from this guy.
Well, if you cruise down the past performance, you'll see this barn is a whopping 38% with second start back from this type of layup. 5-time turf winner, as you mentioned. Got all the positives there. Now we'll show that video.
Yeah, now we've got Alley Oop Johnny. Rigel is out, and Salvatore Prince here. Alley Oop Johnny, this was such a tough beat here for him. And, of course, Rigel will not be playing today. Ocala Dream ran yesterday and didn't run too well. Just take note of that, at least, as far as this race coming back. But Alley Oop Johnny is such a cool horse for the Marty Drexler barn. He's had a couple of really bad beats at second, doing this just right here. And this was a really good effort, but this was a tough beat for him. Now, Salvatore Prince is running on late. He's the 1 horse there in your replay. Joe Bravo will ride today, but look at that alley-oop. Oh, he looked like he won it. He just lost the bob.
Yeah, and then he tried Regal once again at the mile in the 16th in his next start. Didn't do any good, so that nemesis is gone. So he can run
gone,
exceptionally well in here today. So an interesting race. Anything else before we go to the last?
No, it's a tough race, that one is.
Yeah. The last race is 1 mile and 70 yards on the Tapeta. These are maiden claimers. 3-year-olds. We're going to scratch the big favorite in here, number 6, Risen Sun. So it made it a wide open affair. You went with the number 8, Back in Business.
Luckily, I always had this horse on top, so I wasn't too upset with Risen Sun. Blinkers go on today. Second start now on the Tapeta, going 2 turns. Has speed. I think that should carry him.
Yeah, I think he's a major player, and I did have Risen Sun on top.
Okay.
I scratched into the one horse, Dimanche Gras. I just think this horse could get the blinkers removed, hoping that equipment change helps improve on the pair of late running. In the money finishes, I know this is one angle you love. Jose Pinchin, Jose Morelos in the saddle. Blinkers off, I think it's going to help.
Oh, my gosh, completely. He's a horse that has no early speed, and some people think when you put blinkers on, that will get him in the race. That's not always what happens. You pull him off, just watch today. I think he'll be a much better version of himself.
And the number 4, Hugh Evans, second, Signal Caller, another hoping to find more firepower for the stretch ride. Knocked on the door in consecutive races. They put the apprentice, Micah Husband's been winning a few races, so getting a little waiting to break.
Yeah, and he just needs to be involved earlier on. You look at his past performances, he runs so much better when he's involved early. If he's out the back of the field, you don't want to see him there. That's just not going to win the race on the Tapeta today. That's
for sure. After the last couple of days, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, that's how we see the 10, but we're not done. We got the world-famous lightning round coming up.
Yeah, and we'll take a look back at yesterday, Ron, because in our Go Cats Go handicap, horsepower was all power.
Yeah, it was a really nice day. We hit the wire together, and it was a pretty good performance. And as you mentioned, Rajiv Mirage was in the saddle, and he ended up winning this one and the last race. This, of course, the Go Cats Go. We had the Stanley Cup here yesterday, baby.
Yeah.
And we are the Stanley Cup champs, so it was very exciting for us. Good race.
Yep, it was a great race. Cool saddle towels, too, with the logos on it. That was really neat and fun to watch, so congrats to all the connections with horsepower.
And then our sister track.
Santa Anita shuts down today or just closes its doors for their premier meet. They had the Santa Anita Derby yesterday. It was such a fun day. Journalism is a really nice horse, and mandatory payouts and
everything.
Pick 6, pick 5, yes, everything. So get involved there. It's a great card, and it'll be a fun day of racing.
Yeah, next Sunday we have the mandatory payout in our Rainbow Six.
Yes, we do. A week from today. So get going. We'll draw entries today. PPs will be out tomorrow or later tonight. Tomorrow if you want to get cracking on it. So 13th of April.
Our best bet, I think we both have the same.
Mine's out.
Oh, yours out.
No.
My best bet is that one in race number 8. You light up my life, my long shot. I'm not going to show it today because it's now going to be 1 to 9 or something like that. So, and your long shot is out too. Yeah. So, we'll see how things plays out throughout the day. We'll find other things to bet here during the day, not yesterday, today. I already lost the day. We've got about almost 50,000 already in the pick 5 pool. Good luck. We'll be back for race number 1.